Hey, hey, hey. So, welcome to the Deliberate Millionaire live stream. I am Rosemary, Nonny. I am the Prosperity Minister. I support you in leaving behind the pain and the limiting beliefs of the past and in rising victorious in your true design life. I truly, deeply believe that every one of us gets to live free. We get to live fulfilled, we get to live financially abundant, and we get to live in a love-drenched life if we're willing. I always love to add if you're willing. And this is one of those if you're willing kind of live streams, okay? Because you're going to have to be unreasonable. Let's be honest about this. I remember I've always been somewhat unreasonable. I kind of have these weird and wonderful expectations that are always different from the people around me. I still remember a friend from school saying to me, Rosemary, you're that girl that always wants to have your cake and eat it, whatever that really means. But I was always that girl that wanted more than other people expected to ever have, and I expected to get it. Which, yeah, it has a tendency, if you're not willing to actually follow through on the things that you desire, which for a long time I wasn't, then there's a tendency to have to live with disappointment, because there's a part of you that just thinks, you start to think, well, maybe I can't have the things that I want. Maybe I'm being unreasonable to expect that I can do the things that I want to do whenever I want to do them. I mean, I was brought up in a culture where as a woman, I'm supposed to, my whole life really was to be prepared to look after a man or something, and look after my children and at the same time work and all that stuff that people prepare themselves for and think that that's just normal adult life and you have to put up with it. And people like me we didn't want to. We didn't want to. But I thought for a long time that was an unreasonable way to go about doing life. To think that I could have whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it. To think that I could create a life doing the things that I want to do. And the truth of the matter is, it took me a while finally to get back to this place of realizing that, you know what, the only way you create the big life you want is actually to be unreasonable. Because if you're trying to be reasonable, then you do get an average existence, okay? And you might be happy with an average existence. If you are, you're in the wrong place. I'll tell you that right now. But it took me going bankrupt. It took me realizing after graduating from pharmacy school, starting pharmacy work, that actually I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. It took bankruptcy, it took depression, it took looking at my girls, my 3 awesome princesses, looking them in the eye and thinking, you know what, I don't want to teach you that you have to settle. So I have to find a different way. And that's when I realized, you know what, there's nothing wrong with being unreasonable. In fact, it's the unreasonable that change the world. It's the unreasonable that make a difference. If everybody is trying so hard to be reasonable, then life doesn't expand, life doesn't grow. You think somebody created a light bulb because they were being reasonable? You think someone created the Apple Mac computer because they were being reasonable? You think anybody, even what's his name, the guy that did Microsoft, he had this dream of everybody having computers in their homes. He wasn't being reasonable. Nobody that does anything significant is reasonable. So if you are seeking to live what seems to most people to be an unreasonably prosperous life, you are going to have to be unreasonable. You're going to have to think differently. You're going to have to forego the whole concept of common sense, because common sense gets you an average life. Okay? We are going to be those who live intuitively. Nobody's done what we're trying to do before us. We're going to have to go beyond what seems reasonable. And yes, it's going to get scary at times. It's going to get, oh my gosh, can I do this? Yes, you can. If you are willing. Prosperity in every single area of your life, it is your divine right. Just like it's mine, just like it's anybody's on the planet. It's available for the taking. But it's not going to come to the reasonable person. The reasonable person is going to, you can get a reasonable level of success. And if you're content with that, great. But for us, the mavericks, the crazy ones who have this weird idea that we get to do all the things that we want to do whenever we want to do it. For us, we're going to have to be unreasonable. We're going to have to trust the divine in ways that other people just don't even dare to. We're going to have to go through what can sometimes seem crazy in order to actually step into that expansive life that others just dream about? Are you willing, honey? I know when you're faced with the reality of everyday life, when it seems like, but I have to pay the bills and I have to look after my kids and I have to do all of this stuff. There's no way I can find the time or I can find the money or whatever to go and do any of these crazy ideas that I think of or dream of. Honey, the truth of the matter is everybody can come up with that story. Everybody can come up with that story. The ones who actually break through are the ones who still have that crazy story of, well, I have normal life stuff to handle, but despite that, they still dare. They still dare to do that something different. Can you be that person? Can you find the faith? Because you're that person who's been talking about faith forever. Now it's time to actually freaking live it out. This is a faith walk. And it is going to demand that you're somewhat unreasonable. People are going to think you're weird and stupid at times, especially when you're starting the journey and you're in your transition. Afterwards, everybody will be asking what you did, how you did it, blah, 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 blah. But to begin with, you're not going to be, you're not going to be applauded. Most people are going to think you're slightly crazy. Most people will human you. Your loved ones will human you or worry about you. And yet, do you dare? Do you dare to go for everything? For the empowering relationships, for the work that makes you feel good, for the what's it called, the health and the energy in your body, regardless of how old you are, for the money in your bank account? Do you dare to go after it all? Do you dare to empower the people you feel called to empower? Do you dare to live the bigger, more abundant life, even in the face of physical reality chaos? Do you dare? I hope so. Because the world needs the unreasonable. The world needs us to wake up and, there's ants on this log that I'm sitting on. Scary. It needs us, the unreasonable ones, who are willing to dare to do the things that we dream about, not just talk about it, that dare to become history makers. To you, honey, I invite you to the Abundance Library. You, the one who knows you need to rewire your mind, because your mind, there's too much fear, there's too much self-doubt, there's too much limiting ideas that are keeping you from moving forward. You need to come into the Abundance Library. You need to message me the word abundance so that I can get those details over to you and you can come and join in the deliberate millionaire path to peace and to plenty. You need these programs to support you in taking back dominion over your mind, over your money, over your relationships, over your energy. You need this. You need to message me the word abundance. And you need to share this video with other people, just because I'm asking you to. Guys, you're going to have to be unreasonable if you're going to create the life that you desire. Hello, Serena. I didn't see comments before. How you doing? You need to awaken to your power. We are divine beings having a human experience. Sometimes we forget that and we think we're just human beings suffering through life. You're here on planet Earth to enjoy being here on planet Earth. And, transitioning to that place of enjoyment, it's going to take more than you. My face looks a bit weird, crooked. My face is going weird, or is it just me? Do I just see my face going weird? It feels like my face is going weird. That's interesting. My lips are doing something crazy. Anyway. Lord, I just carry on here, regardless of crazy lips. Let's awaken to what is possible for us. We have divine power flowing through us that we have access to. If you dare, I hope you dare. I'm going to leave it there, okay? Until the next time. Share this with someone else and message me the word abundance if you're ready to start your transition. Much amazing love. Bye. I'm distracted by the weirdness of my face, I have to say. At least it looks weird to me. I don't know if it looks the same to you guys. Much amazing love, guys. Bye. Except it's not letting me switch it off now. That's interesting. It's just crashed on me. Interesting.